Hello and welcome back to Just Painted. As you can see, we're going to be painting this baby today, and I'm going to start off with doing skin tone. And the reason why I want to start with this is two reasons. Well, I had it sitting on my desk for a while. I want to get a little bit back to resin painting, not so much 3D printing. Not for any reason, just I want to mix it up a little bit. But I want to practice a little bit more on the black clothing for me, because I got a lot of black stuff coming up. So and the reason why, it's just, black is not an easy color for me to paint. I don't know if you guys are having the same problem, but I would like to try and give this a little bit of a try to see what outcome I get. So this is a kit by Gillman's production, all right, and this is from his hammer line. All right, I'll leave a link down below for Gillman's production. If you guys are interested, he has a ton of kits from the Hammerline movies, and this is one of the ones that I really liked. All right, obviously it's Dracula, Christopher Lee, and Carolyn Monroe, and it's a beautiful kit. All right, I did a little review on this not too long. Actually, it was a while ago when this first came out. But the reason why I haven't done it yet, because like I said, I wanted to practice doing black. And I want to start that today. Okay, so, but there's a lot of black on this kit, as you can see in the picture. Okay, now you can depict this in two different ways. Okay, you can depict the pre-bite, no blood, or post-bite. All right, I want to do the post. I want to throw some a real bloody mess, all right, on her. So, all right, but this is from a famous scene from Dracula 1972 AD. So, all right, from that movie. All right, now I think that Christopher Lee is one of the best Draculas out there. I don't know if everybody's gonna have their favorite, I guess. Some people tend, like older fellas, tend to go to Bela Lugosi, and then you have like Interview and Vampire, and then Bram Stoker, and then all the other stuff in between and whatever. But I mean, growing up watching the Hammer movies, and just bloody and very sexy, and there was a lot of stuff involved with these movies, and I suggest, if you guys haven't seen this movie, go see it, or see all the Dracula movies are out there. All right, they're really cool series out there. So from the Hammer series, so I think it's really cool. And Paul has a ton of kits on his Hammer line. I don't have all of them. I have a few. I picked the ones that are my favorites, because to collect the whole thing would be too expensive. But this is a beautiful kit, sculpted by Yagher. All right, there it is. All right, I had to do a little repair. My fault, because I was cleaning up these edges over here on the dress, and I scribed a little deep, and I had to go in and repair it, but it came out really nice. Okay, and it wasn't too bad. This is a two-piece. It comes in two pieces. All right, and it sits very nicely in there, very snug. And that's exactly how I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to do any putty work on the. It would be very hard for me to get in there. But I think I like it the way that it is, like there, with the little gaps right there. That's no problem with me. Everything's going to be black anyway. All right, but I did it. So the cleanup wasn't too bad. It was actually a very nice clean cast. All right, and there it is right there. Okay, so we're going to obviously we're going to start doing flesh tones today. All right, and then we're going to move into doing everything else. All right. So I got a little that picture right there. I don't think is a real good one. I have some that I have saved for this project. The lighting, okay, it's very bright, this picture. I want to see if I can find something with a little bit more of what the actual lighting was in the movie. And you can always go back and watch it, but what I want to do is try to capture lighting in some. I don't know if I want to come in from the top and keep these sides dark, or coming in from an angle. Okay, there's a couple things that I thought about doing. Do you have to go screen accurate? No, you don't. All right, you could paint the thing as you guys want it. You know, that's what I say. You know, it's your kit. You do whatever you want with it. All right, but I do want to capture the lighting in a certain way to give some shadows and things like that, and that's how I want to do it right now. But you know, all right. But what I want to do first is start putting some color on the skin. Okay, so we're going to do the base coat. So let me get my stuff ready, and I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, so let's put down some skin tone. And you know, if you guys are new to my channel, hit the like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. You know, just to get the word out. I like to use Pro Acro. This is the tan flesh. Okay, focus. There we go. All right, and I'm going to be using a mix of different. This is a new one that I got. I never tried this before. It's from their signature series. Ben Commits is the one that from his line right here, and I have the usual shadow flesh, and I have an olive flesh that I'm going to be using also. And those are pretty much the three, maybe four. I want to try that color out maybe and see how it goes. Maybe not, I don't know. But I usually use three colors to use for flesh tones, but there's other things that I do in between that I like to do to get some more realism into the skin tone. All right, so if you guys are new, just follow along and I'll explain as best as I can. If not, if you feel like you're missing out on something or something in there, just check out my other videos. The Loana video is a good video to watch for skin tones. Okay, so what I do is I put a drop or two of flow improver, and then I got a thinner, and I put a little bit in. And the consistency of milk is my usual method for diluting the paint. Okay. Right, so I put a little bit in there, and I don't gauge it by drops or percentages or anything like that. I just go by what I feel is a good mix. I just go right up to the side of the cup and see what kind of flow I get on the paint. Okay, so I just go to the side of the cup like that. All right. Now I did change the lens because I felt like the other lens is, I don't know, I just wasn't too happy with the way that other lens was absorbing light. You know, I don't think I was getting a good picture. This one's a little bit more closer to the subject, even though I got this thing all the way up. All right, it's up really high. I need to go up a little bit higher, but that's once I move. I'm going to be redoing my whole work area here, and I'm going to be probably moving my desk to a different area where I could put this up because I'm on the slant of the ceiling here in this corner of my painting area, and it's hard for me. I can't go any higher. If I go a little bit higher, you get a little bit wider picture, and hopefully that'll be a little bit better, but it'll do for now. This is how I've been doing it for a while. So just wherever areas you got skin tone, just start applying. My method of applying paint is very thin layers, and excuse me, I'm using the Gaahleri Premium Mobius 0.2, all right, for doing this job. And I've been testing this airbrush, and so far I'm really happy with it. I'm probably I didn't do a review, I just do a look-see kind of video on this. I think I want to give my the results of all the tests that I've been doing, a video on that, because this thing is amazing. I love it. Highly suggest you guys pick one up. All right. I'm still trying to learn the trigger. I like taller triggers, and I spoke to Gaahleri about that, and they say they will be coming out with a taller trigger eventually in the future. I'm kind of hoping they do that sooner than later, but I like it a little bit higher because I got big hands or whatever. Okay, but I'm still trying to learn the trigger memory on this thing, And so, you know, it's been pretty good. I can't really complain. But I do light layers, okay, guys? So right here on this paper, just like that. You can barely see it, right? Right there, see? All right, don't go kicking the paint on the kits. All right, so start off with her and start putting a nice coat of paint on her. Don't worry about overspray right now. All right, we'll worry about that much later. But right now, just put a coat of paint. All right. And just get in there and just paint her. And just start off very lightly. We'll go back into those areas. Very lightly. Don't forget to get the ears. Don't worry about the hair. Alright. Make sure you get into those creases if you can. If not, you do it, hit it with the brush. Alright. It's got a lot of nice detail. Like wrinkles and lines and get on the lips. Don't worry about that right now. Now, like I said before, I'm still debating on how to do the lighting. I think I know which way I want to go, but I just want to make sure. And I think once I put the base layer down, I think I'll have a better idea. All right, but this is just the base layer right now, which is the tan flesh. If you've got a little bit of that gray exposing out, don't worry about it. I mean, it gives a little bit of tone variation to the skin. You don't have to go crazy and cake paint on there just to get rid of it. You want some of that, maybe some of that gray, because it gives it more towards the realism that we're going to go for. Now the way that I like to work is working my way in into out. Okay, so I say skin tone first, then we'll do the blouse and the hair, and that's all working your way from the inside out. Okay. See how the little bit of grayish still showing through? Guys, don't worry about that. We'll get to that. Trust me when I tell you. Let some of that gray show through. Don't worry about it. In 1 month, I went to 3 of these bottles. Just so you know. And this one's already getting there. Same thing with this one. All right, so I don't stir because you got dry paint on the sides. What I do is I hit the middle. All right. Just like that. Up and down. And then I backflow a little bit. Just to mix the paint. All right. I checked the paint on my fingers. You should have to use that a lot. So, all right. You can make sure you overspray a little bit on the hairlines because you want some of that flesh to come through when especially his type of hair. All right, you're not going to see it on her too much, but on him, because his type of hair, how he goes, and you see the hairlines right there, they got to show a little bit of flesh. Okay, just to this way it doesn't look like it's a line of just hair. You know what I mean? So a straight line. Kind of like Herman, like Eddie Monster or anything like that. So what you want to do is overspray. Don't be afraid to overspray that hair. All right. Same goes with the eyebrows and stuff. Right, so you're gonna let it dry really good. You're gonna seal it, okay? And then once it's sealed, all right, we're gonna come back and we're gonna start doing, some realism, okay? So hang on tight, and we'll be back. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do some tinting and I sealed them, okay? So we're gonna do some tinting and freckling, okay? And I have 4 colors here that I usually use. I use, it could be any yellow. Just trying to get a yellow that's not too thick, all right? So I'm going to use Game Color, yellow, Moon Yellow, Angron Red Clear by Citadel. Another one, Drakenhof Nightshade, which is a blue. And Agrax Earthshade. It's a brown. Alright. So if you guys never watched this, what I do is I thin down these paints. Okay, I'm gonna try to get that in there so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, and so basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna do a wash. Alright, and you're not gonna use a lot of paint to do this. Alright, now this paint right here is not too thick, but it's also not too thin. So all you're going to do is you're going to put like a small drop right there, okay? Not too much. You're going to grab some water. All right, make sure you sealed your kit, and you're going to seal in between. All right, so you're going to grab some water. You're going to mix. Okay. And give me 1 second. I'm going to grab some of these makeup sponges. These are cheap. You can get these on Amazon. Okay. And you can buy these by the 100. They're really cheap. Okay. Alright. So, there's a little schmeckle there. Let's get that out of here. Alright, again, you're going to mix, thin, and you're going to apply it generously everywhere, okay? You got to be a little quick with this. Alright, so if you don't think you can handle doing this all in one shot, just do a little bit at a time. Like do one side and then do the other. Alright, but you got to be a little bit quick. You don't want let this dry like this, alright? Apply it everywhere. Now you're not going to notice the yellow too much. The other colors you're going to notice more, but this is all about, giving your kit texture. Alright, and then you're going to sponge them off. You're going to dab just like this. Alright, don't let it pool anywhere. Okay, just pick it all up, and what you're doing is you're tinting it a little bit. Alright, and you pick up all these thick pools of paint everywhere. Alright, just like that. Alright, don't let it pull anywhere, just grab it, Tint it everywhere you can. Don't let it pull. Get all that thick paint out of there, like right there in the neck. Alright. Now you're going to let that dry. That was really quick. You're going to let this one dry. Put it to the side. And once it dries, you're going to seal it. Alright. Okay. You're going to see the effect better with the other colors, but you know. Alright. So now you're going to grab her. You need to do the same thing. Alright. You're going to generously put it everywhere. Alright. And let's just do this upper part first. Alright. And just start dabbing. There you go. Like if you have an area that you can't get to, just grab a brush, grab a dry brush, and just get in there. Alright, just pick it up. Alright. You just don't want it to pull in the creases. You're going to want to pick it up. Like any part that's heavy. Right there. Okay. All you want to do is just tint, guys. That's all you want to do. Alright. Okay. So what you're going to do, you're going to let this dry. Let it dry really good, and then we're going to come in and we're going to do another color, all right? All right, make sure you clean your brush. And when we come back, we'll do another color. Next up is the Yagher red clear. Okay. And you're going to put a little bit on here. That's good enough. You're going to add some water. Alright, and again, a wash. Alright, so make sure you sealed your kit before you start this, okay? You're going to seal between layers. Alright, so now we're going to do the red. Alright, just generously put it in there. Now you see how this is beading? That's a good thing. Alright, and I'm going to show you why. Alright. You want it to bead like that, so. Alright. Make sure you get red everywhere. Alright, you're going to get a new sponge, and now you're going to start dabbing again. Now, you're going to dab off most of it, but you're going to want to leave the little dots in there. All right, all right. So, and the reason why is this is, just to give your skin tone some texture. Now, you don't see it very much with the yellow, but you're going to notice it more with the blues and the reds. All right. So, it's going to look splotchy, but that's okay. Just take out all the big stuff away and leave the little ones in there. I see how you bleed. See how it beads. Okay, that's what you want. All right. This is now what I used to do is I used to do this, and I used to do two-step, where I would sponge, tint, and then freckle. This eliminates one of the process because you're basically getting little freckles in there already by doing this. All right. Just as long as you take, you be careful. Don't leave anything big in there. All right, and leave all the small stuff. And All right, and that's the effect that you get. That could be because of the sealer or whatever is doing that, but you want to leave your skin a little blotchy, all right, to mimic texture, you know, and skin variations and stuff like that. All right, so that's what you want. I just get rid of all the big stuff, and you're gonna have some little, you don't want too much. Right. While your sponge is still wet, you can still use, if you want to add texture and freckles in different places. All right, but you want that variety in the skin tone. Okay, and then you got tint and some freckles. All right, pretty cool. I want to get rid of this. All right, and I got a little bit too much in the ear. Just make sure, I'm going to use the wrong brush anyway, but just make sure you don't leave any pools. All right, that's it right there. I'm happy with that. All right, let's do her. Okay, we're gonna let that dry, seal. We'll come back and we'll do another color. All right, so let's do the blue Dracula Nightshade. Sorry, Dracula Nightshade. I hate these tubs. I don't know how you feel about it, but I hate them. Alright, so blue, same thing, generously over. Make sure you seal this before you do this. Okay. Let that set and dry. You see I got some good. It's the same thing here. Alright, so while we're here with the blue, I'm going to show you guys how to do a little veining. Okay, but you're going to do this very lightly. You don't want to do it too thick because then you're going to have to cover it with a thicker layer when you come back around. And this is pretty diluted. You still want to, you know, don't go too heavy. So see the veins that are sticking out? Just go lightly over it. Alright. Tone it down a little bit. Don't leave it too dark. You know what I'm saying? So just put your finger on it. You see how lightly blue that is? Alright? That's how you want it. You don't want it too dark. So otherwise you're going to be putting too many layers and it's going to cover up all the work that you did with all the tinting and freckling and all the other good stuff. So same thing goes for here. Add a little blue. Tap it down a little bit. Just bring that intensity down a little bit. You don't want it too dark. Alright. Nice big one right there. Alright, not too dark. Alright, so let's go right there. We can let it dry and seal them. Alright, and then we'll do the last color. Alright, so the next color is Yagher's Earthshade. Alright, and we're going to do this one a little bit different. Alright, we're going to put paint on a angled brush. Okay. Let me dilute this a little bit. Just a little bit. Seems like a little thick to me. Now, I'm not going to dilute this one that much. Just a little bit. Put a couple of drops of water. Just like that. And mix. Alright, so now what we're gonna do with this is the angled brush. Don't get one that's too soft. You want it semi-rigid. Alright? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna splatter. Just like that, all over the kit. You're gonna give it like freckles and stuff, okay? Like this. You're gonna do it all over the body. What you're gonna do is you're gonna add texture. Alright, you can pick up the big ones with the brush. Alright, but what you wanna do is you wanna leave the little ones in there. Alright, and just go on there. And you just freckle everything up. Okay, before it dries, go ahead and just with the little dry brush, just get in there and get the big ones. If you don't want them too bunched up, just go ahead and spread them out. I'm getting the little darker ones I'm picking up. I'm leaving some of the lighter ones. Alright, remember we're going to be doing layers, so a lot of this stuff is going to be hidden. Alright, put a little bit, just a little bit of water. There we go. Discharge a little bit on there. And I go over the face. Don't forget to do the hands. Just give your, get just a little texture right there. Get my hand out of the way. I'm just softening all this up. I'm gonna leave those on hand. Sorry if I took it out of. I gotta get used to that. Okay. You can do this with an airbrush on a low pressure. It's just as good. I used to do this with all the colors. You can still, if you don't get a good mix, or you didn't get any good freckling with the other method, you can still go on there and put some more if you want the other colors. It's totally up to you. You know, once you get a hang of doing this method, you're gonna know what you want and what you don't want. All right. And all we're doing is just adding texture. That's it. Not a lot. There you go. Okay. Pick up the any ones that I don't want, like the big ones. There you go. There you go. That's it. Right. Let that dry, seal it, all right, and then we'll continue. All right, so welcome back. So we're gonna do a little bit of shading. We're gonna use some red iron oxide pastel, pan pastels. This is what I usually use, guys, right there. All right, this is the color red iron oxide. It's very strong, very pungent. All right, but like I said before, we're going to be doing layers. So where we left off was where I put a we finished throwing the freckling and all the tinting. So this is what it looks like. It looks very gnarly, and that's okay. All right, that's where we left him, and this is where we left with her. She's very freckly. Okay, we're gonna hide a lot of that. Don't worry about it. So, if you haven't been to this channel before, this is how I do it. I got plenty of videos for this stuff out there, how it's done. This pastel is very, very pigmented. All right, you don't wet it. Just put it on dry. All right, and you do the shadows, all the creases, and all the folds. Okay, and you just put a little bit at a time. Then we're gonna blend everything in. Okay, I have a little brush, and then I got a filbert brush we're gonna use to blend it. All right, you do the hairlines. Okay, don't worry if you go over the hair, that's what you want. Okay, you do it inside the ears, you do the creases in the ears. Okay, and when we're done with this, you're going to get a nice effect on everything. All right, and it's okay to go back and forth, so if you lose some of these shadows, you can always go back and hit it again after you do all the layering if you want to bring some certain shadows back to the figure. Okay, alright, so put some of the lip in that crease. If you want to enhance it, accentuate certain things, there's a nice little fold there. Alright, hopefully my head is out of the way. This light keeps on getting me in trouble. I think it's just because it's too high. Bring it down a little bit. There we go. Alright. See, he has a lot of features in his face. You want to do the folds of the nostrils. Okay, one side of the face. I like to do the lips. We're going to lighten them up anyway, so if you want to put a little color in those little creases and everything, go ahead and put it on the lips. You can always lighten those up. Put them inside the nostrils. And everywhere in the face that you see folds and wrinkles and things like that. Like I like to do the inside of the eyes. Put a little color in there. And do anywhere that casts the shadows, like underneath the eyebrow and that top eyelid, that top part right there. There you go. Put some color in there. He's got some very pronounced wrinkles in his face. So just gently put some in there. Right. Anywhere where you see a wrinkle or fold, if you want to enhance it, just like that. I know it looks strong and looks weird. Trust me when I tell you, this stuff comes out looking really good. Alright. I love the results that I get from this stuff. And every time I do this, I always try to make it better. Try to come up with improvements to this technique. Okay. I add or take out or do different things. Try to make it a little better. So far since I've been doing this, it's been giving me good results. Alright. So some areas are going to show more than others, and that's okay. All depends where you're casting shadows and highlights and things like that. Because remember, we're going to be doing layers. You can always add some more where you want. So see, I try to go in nice and thinly in these wrinkles to enhance those on his forehead. All right, just go gently in there. You should be able to get some powder in there. All right, and there you go. When you blow dry. Don't blow. Don't try not to spit. All right, very important. Keep the spit in your mouth. Best you can, you know what I mean? So, alright. Just wrinkle this nose I missed right here. I won't forget that. Yeah, it looks a little gnarly right now. It's okay. You're going to be doing layers. You're going to be melding and blending and doing a lot of work to this as we go along. It's a very easy technique, guys. I think this is a great technique for beginners to get a nice skin tone. Okay, and for the skin tone is a few colors you need. You don't need I got a whole collection of colors, but red iron oxide I think is the best one for doing this kind of stuff. And you can use this on all different types of skin tones. Okay, and then I like to use a couple of different purples. I got a regular purple, and then I got a magenta extra dark we're going to be using. And then for like 5 o'clock shadows, I like to use Payne's Gray extra dark. Alright, so keep those in mind if you want to. And then for doing highlights, if I need to do highlights, I like to use Hold on a second, I'll tell you which one I like to use. It's titanium white. Alright? Or you could use like a very, very light gray, like this is a raw umber tint. Okay, but that's the color of it. Alright? That's a good one for highlights too, for medium highlights. The titanium white, you're going to get some extra highlights on that, but once you blend it, you really don't notice that all that really big extreme white and stuff. So it works out pretty good. I don't always use them, all of them, but those are the main colors that I always use. Okay, so just like 4 or 5 different colors. I'd say they're expensive, but again, you're not gonna go through this. Probably won't go through that in my lifetime. I had this one for years, and look, it's still full. Right? You don't put a lot to it. All right. So. These things are going about, if you get them on sale, they're about $6. Full price is about almost $8, I think, in my area. Can you get them cheaper? I don't know. If you do, let me know. You know what I mean? So I would like to get some other colors. Sometimes they run a sale on Amazon. Take a pause and take a look where you need to put. We're gonna be doing more shadows, even more than this, so don't worry about it. We're gonna be blending a lot of stuff. Alright. I like to put a little bit in the crease in the ear, just a little bit. Okay. Forget the hairline, do the back of the hair too. Don't forget to do the jawline. And do the collar. Okay. Get some color inside the collar. Doing the outlines and the folds and things like that. Or any shadows. Alright. I think that's pretty good right there. Alright. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to grab your filbert. Alright. You're going to start blending. Alright. Go gently. Blending up all your stuff. See how you blend? Just blend nice and gently. I haven't cleaned these. I never clean these. I just wipe them off. All right. I'm making a mess over here. All right. I'm going to soften it up a little bit. Okay, see, I have to get the extra out of on my hand. All right. Be right back. All right, let's continue with her. All right. Let's start off from the top. A little too strong there, right? Because there is going to be light coming in there, but do it underneath the breast area to cast some shadow. All right, a little more definition, but be careful how much you put in here. I mean, you can always go over with paint, but you don't want to overdo it. All right. You want to go have smooth transitions. All right. Now for the hands, to see how I have the veins, just put in just a little bit in between, just to give everything a little bit of blood flow and a little life, even though he's dead. But you know what I mean? So you want to just accentuate maybe some of those areas. Just put a little bit, not too much. Don't go crazy. You're going to blend those in anyway, so. Alright, so just be careful how much you put in, that's all. Something between the fingers, under the fingers, wherever you can see. Okay, so there she is right there. Alright, with that, now we're going to switch up. I'm going to do the magenta extra dark. Alright, same concept. So we're only going to do like underneath the eyes, I give her like a little bit of color right there. So don't worry about how strong that's going to look, because remember, you're doing blending. Let's add a little bit to the bottom lip. And she has makeup, so I'm going to use probably a different color than this. So I don't know if this is going to be strong enough. Maybe do a couple of coats might do it, because I like this color. But again, do a couple passes, then maybe add some later. Just right in there. I know it looks very gnarly, but this is just part of the process, guys. Alright, same thing with him. I'm going to put a little bit under his eyes, his bags. Alright. more sinister look too. Okay. All right, now what you're going to do now is you're going to go seal. Right? And the way you're going to seal this is you're going to mist it from far away. You're not going to cake it. You don't want to get it wet. You just want to mist it, okay, from far away, because otherwise you're going to lose a lot of that. All right, doesn't matter what kind of sealer you're using. All right, so you want to do it from far away. All right, with a matte sealer, and do it from far away. Okay. I keep all my pastel brushes separate from everything else. All right, and if you have to come back and redo it, you redo it, but just do it from far away. Don't do it too close. Lightly mist. Okay, and then we'll come back and we'll continue with shadows. All right, so hopefully you sealed your kit. And that's what it should look like right there, all gnarly looking. So we're gonna do a little more shadows, but this time with the paint, with the airbrush. So, but I do have two different colors here. All right, this is the standard shadow flesh, and then this one here is the new advanced flesh tone. All right. Now I'm looking at these two together, and I usually tend to go more for the pinkish, a little more reddish tone. All right, let's see if you can see that a little better right there. Then this has a little more tan, towards the tan, brownish tone. Okay. And I'm leaning towards my regular color, is because I like those tones. I think I'm going to stick with that instead of going with the new color. And the reason why, because I feel it's a little more safer going with this. This I'll try some other time. You know, this will go better with like a darker skin tone. I think that'll work better for that, or for somebody who has more of a tan, and they're Caucasian. He should be looking a little bit more paler, you know, because he's Dracula, whatever, you know. But for today, we're just going to stick with what we know and what I feel comfortable with. All right. Now, you don't need to use a lot for this, because we are going to just spraying very lightly. So I already put a little bit of thinner in there. All right. And you don't want to go too thick. All right. Because we want to go really lightly, thin coats, translucent on this. Okay, so I'm mixing with my brush. All right, and it's very light, and that's the way I want to keep it for now. Okay, really quick, what I would like to do is I want to try something that I don't think I have shown you guys before, with a different direction of lighting and shadows. Now with this kit, the way that it's standing like this, okay, so picture it right there. What I'm picturing is the light coming from, not just from the side, this side, but higher up here in an angle this way. All right, so the shadows are going to be behind here and here. All right, so this is going to be the lit part right here and here. Okay, just like that. So I'm going to cast the shadow with my airbrush this way. All right, and you're going to see more shadows on this side of the face, this side of the face over here, and then when I come over with the overspray in the highlights, I'm going to come over more or less this way here. Usually what I do is I do it from right from the top, from the 12 o'clock for the lights, and for the shadows right below. This time I'm coming below, but I'm coming in this way. All right, from under here, from this side. All right, so it's going to be a little bit different than what I usually do. All right, but I'm going to show you how I do it. Hopefully it'll come out good. All right, but very lightly. I'll show you right there, just like that, very lightly. All right, so I'm going to come from behind him, this angle right here. I'm going to drop some more shadow into the skin, very lightly covering up this part right here, if you can see that. All right, just want to make sure which way the light is coming, and this is exactly where I want it, right there. Make sure you hit the back of the neck, and this is going to be hard, but try to get under the neck over here. All right. And throw some shadow over here a little bit. Okay, so you should see difference a little bit, okay? And if you have to, you do it over again afterwards. But for now, I'm going to start blending everything and see how everything is starting to blend in a little bit. You're going to cast a little shadow, a little more shadow on one side than the other. Just get a little bit underneath, because no light really captures underneath the neck a lot. So maybe on this side a little bit, but not too much. All right, so here is lighter. You can see the difference, right? Okay. All right, so that's what I want. And as you can see in the nose here, you see how it's starting to fade in. You're going to see that, be able to tell a little bit more once we start adding more color. But the bridge of the nose is still light, but there's starts to fade. All right, and it's not very heavy, so that's good. So get a little color back there. I guess it right here, just a little bit. I think that's good. Now let me let this sit and start with her. Same thing with her. All right. You want to cast the shadows from underneath on this side, because the light is going to be coming into her like this. All right. So same thing I did with him, we're going to do with her. But I want to cast some shadow underneath his hands. All right. A little bit under the brush first before we get started. This is going to get lightened up anyway, so. And their collarbone. And just a little bit right there. Alright, so this hand is done. Get a little bit between the fingers. Okay, so here, I'm going this angle right here. Check this area out right here in her cheek and her underneath her neck. So once you start adding highlights and everything is going to start popping. Alright, so let it dry, seal it, and then when we come back, we're going to do something else, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring back, we're going to blend everything together by using your base color, the tan flesh, like kind of bring it back to mid-tone a little bit, alright? So tan flesh, You don't want it too thick. You want it pretty diluted. All right. You don't want a thick layer, and you want to spray over very gently and start blending everything together a little bit. Okay. And a thin layer. Watch here. Very gently. And from far away, you don't want to be too close. You don't want to cake on paint. You want to do light layers. Okay. So, spray over. You're going to try to preserve the shadows that we did. Okay. So here we go. I'm starting here on the chest. Shit. Do a little spattering here. There we go. I'm trying to do the high areas. Alright, and just do a little bit at a time. Just do a nice spray over. I'm at the neck right now. Try to tilt it a little bit so you guys can see. The hands, the top of the hands. Okay. Going back to the left side of the neck and back to the breast. Just bringing all that together. All right, let's do this side of the hand. So I'm going to shoot from here. Blend all that together. See all the veining work that we did, how it's starting to cover it a little bit and blending it all together. Alright. Don't forget that we're going to be doing highlights too, so there's going to be another layer on top of this stuff. But right now we're just blending, bringing that mid-tone back up. Alright, do the hand a little more, and I'm going to go and blend a little bit of this stuff over here. Just a little bit. The shadows are still there, but they're going very lightly. Okay. Okay. Continue on. Very lightly, I'm spraying where the shadows were, just to bring a little bit of contour. And now I'm going to do the face. Ears. Let's see how everything comes together. So see all that work that we did, you still see some of these freckles still popping out, okay? And that's like a natural, and if you wanna, don't forget, don't overdo it, because you still need to do the highlights, right? So just wherever you see that you need to put a little bit of paint, just go ahead and do that. Like I want to hit this part of the cheekbone right here. Just bring out some of the contour right there. So just like that. Not too much, but you can see nice shadows there. You know what I'm saying? And you see the difference between the one side that's going to hit the light versus the one that's more of a shadow. You still want to bring up some of these bony cheeks and the jaw line and things like that. You still want to try to bring those out, but you don't want to overdo it. All right. Obviously, when you do the highlights, certain areas are going to be more highlighted than the others. Is going to bring some of those areas. I'm doing the forehead a little bit, and here in this part of the cheek, I want to. All right. And once you do the highlights, okay, everything's gonna come together very, very nicely. So, all right, again, I'm gonna mid-tone this right here. Go into the breast area a little more, just to bring that up a little bit more. All right, accentuate certain areas. Go back to the hands a little bit. All right. And this part of the spraying is a little bit more targeted in certain areas. So, okay, a little bit more in the forehead. Just needs a little bit more. All right, and here in the cheek line. Because of the light, the way it's hitting. Okay, so there you go, right there. Alright, so let's switch over. Let's let this meld a little bit. Alright, might want to hit a couple spots, but I want to let it dry a little bit. Alright, same thing with him. We're going to hit one side more than the other. Alright. So I'm starting from the top of the forehead. That looks pretty wicked, right? So you see the difference, right? I use the same method for all this stuff that I've been doing since I've been doing it this way. This is how I do it. But usually what I do is I hit it from below, all right? But because the way that everything is gonna, I want to portray the shadows and the lighting from the side and the top. This is what the effect you get, okay? All right. Like I would like to blend a little bit more. This cheekbone and the jawbone, and a little bit on the forehead, on the top of the forehead, right there. That's right there. Just like a nice little blend. There you go. All right, so that's going to be it right there for this. All right, so let's head over and let this dry and seal it. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with the results on this. All right. Yeah. All right. Hit a little bit more color blending. So let's seal it. Okay. And then we'll come back and we'll see how it looks. All right. All right. So let's do the highlights. And I got same thing, a thin out olive flesh. Okay. Not too thick. We're gonna go very lightly. Okay, from the direction of lighting. All right. Oh shit! I don't want to get that dirty. All right. So here we go, just like that. Okay. And you see how the shadows are. So you want to hit this now from this side. All right, from up here, coming in like this. Okay, you see what you see is going to get highlighted. Okay, exactly what you see is the areas that are going to get highlighted, and from the top. Okay, so I can leave this like this, and I can work it right now just like this. All right, no big deal. Make sure I got some good flow. And I'm going to start from like right up here. I'm going to start with his forehead corner here and shoot towards these areas, okay? So start with the forehead so you guys can maybe see what I'm doing. Because I'm doing very light coats. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not. Alright, I'm going over to his hand. Alright. Now I'm going towards her chin. I gotta get a little closer for that. And her cheekbone, her nose, that part of the forehead right there. The chin again. The upper lip. I'm gonna have to work on these shadows again a little bit. Looks like the collarbone. Her breasts, top of the breast, just work it nice and gently. Same thing with the other side. Right here in the, just very lightly. Collarbone, the neck, that's what it looks like. It did a very nice job hiding all, you see, remember how gnarly it looked? And look what it looks like now. And once you paint the hair, the eyebrows, the eyelashes, the makeup, the lips, once you do all that stuff, everything's going to come together. Right now, the skin tone, that's all you're doing. Alright? So don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, and once you start putting all the other colors, you're probably not going to like it. So stay right here is a good place to start and to have a good vision once you put the hair color in. Once you put the hair color in, things are going to start popping out, and it's going to look like more and more like a realistic skin tone. You put the colors in the lips, the eyes, everything. It's going to come together. Trust me when I tell you. If you think it still looks a little gnarly or whatever, but what I see based on what I do all the time, I'm liking where it's going. Alright, so a little bit of touch up that I need to do. Some of these areas that I want to accentuate maybe a little bit more. Alright, but once all those other colors go in, I'm going to lighten up these fingers over here. Just a little bit right there. All right. Yeah, but once, I think this is looking really nice. And once you seal it, this is going to look even better. Okay. Once you seal all this, see how I'm accentuating a little bit more in certain areas. I'm hitting the collarbone, this part of the breast where the light's going to hit, the neck, not too much. Alright, just remember you got natural shadows too, so like I said, once you start hitting these there we go. liking that a little bit better like that. All right. Once you seal it, everything's going to blend in together a lot better. All right. So I'm going to leave it right there. I don't want to overdo it. Okay. When we come after I seal it, we'll come back and then we'll see if we have to add any shadows or anything else. Okay. Okay. So there you go. Once it's sealed and dried, everything just blends in together. See that? Alright. So there are some areas, very little bit, that I want to add some more, bring back some of those shadows, okay? And we're going to do that now. Alright, so give me a second, let me get the stuff that I need and be right back. Okay, so very carefully I want to reestablish some of the shadows in some of these areas. Okay, so just not too much needed to be done on him, I don't believe. Really liking where it's at. Just when you're done with your painting, you want to go not as sloppy like I did before, but more gently, you know, just reestablish some of these areas, and that's it, you know. Just do it carefully. You can always wipe it off with a little bit of alcohol if you're not happy with the result. Alright, so there are some areas that I want to touch up, you want to bring back. And I'm doing it very softly and very gently. I still have some of that olive flesh pure, so I'm going to just blend it in just very gently. Alright, on the breast. Alright, so now what you want to do is you want to reseal your work. Okay, let's see where we're at. I feel like I need to bring a little bit of color back to her cheekbone, like on her cheeks a little bit. Oops. Almost got a boo-boo there. Alright, so the color that I have that I'm going to use is red iron oxide tint, which is like a real, like a pinkish color. Alright. But the hard part of her cheekbone is going to be, highlighted. But like in these areas right here, I just want to bring back a little color to her skin. Alright. I feel like it's a little too white. Alright. And I just want to add a little more blood flow in their cheeks. Even though the light's hitting it hard right there. I think it's looking pretty good. And this you can use also as a little bit of a highlight if you want. If you want to bring a little bit more. Not so dark. See what I mean? A little color in her nose. This is like really, really light. You can barely tell, but I see it. That's it. I'm pretty happy right there. Alright. If we need to do more after we put the colors in, then, you know, those things are going to pop. Alright. But I think you should leave it right there. And we'll move on to the next phase. Just start adding some color into the hair and things like that. Hey, welcome back, and we're going to continue. I'm very happy where the skin tone is. Alright. I might want to lighten up certain areas. Okay, just a little bit. And I might do that with just pastels later on. Alright, but right now what I want to do is to see where I'm at and start putting some paint on the hair. And I'm going to start with her. Okay. And her hair, with the, you know, with the best that I can see, it's a very dark brown. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this in a black brown. It's very dark. Okay. And then we'll add some highlights to that. All right. But I think I'm going to want to add a little bit of black to that. All right. Some flat black. Okay. So give me 1 second. I have to go get that paint. All right. So I'm going to add the dark German black brown by Vallejo, and I have an Dracula black here. I want to test these. I've been wanting to test these for the, you know, I might want to test these out for the clothing and everything else. But right now I'm just going to use the flat black from them. It comes from a set, so. And then I want to just add a black here and just mix it. So I'm going to use a nice big brush to get coverage on the bigger stuff, and I'll mix in the paint. And just to add a little more darkness to the hair. It's like really, really dark. And I don't want to make it black, but I also don't want to make it, you know, too brown. I want to get it really on the dark side. Because her hair has minimal highlights. Right. So I want to get in there and get a good mix. think that's a good start. Once you get paint on the hair, everything else starts to pop and blend in a little better. And you got a better idea where you're at with the skin tone. Alright, it's very hard to tell right now. But hopefully when I put the hair in, everything else is going to start to, you know, pop out and show. Be careful here, you got really thin hair and some of the clothes are showing through, so. Alright, before I do anything else, I'm gonna let this dry and then I'll seal it. Okay, so maybe we'll jump into, while that happens, we'll jump in and do the other head real quick. So let me pause and come back. And hair is black and we're just gonna paint. It's a little diluted, but give it a couple coats. I'm pretty happy with that result there. Alright, so he does have a little bit of white hair along the sideburns and the side of his head. I'm not sure if you remember it quite on top, but we're going to add those in. Maybe add a little 5 o'clock shadow. Okay, and then with her, I want to do the eyebrows. She has pretty thick eyebrows, so. And for that, we're going to use the brown. Nice thin lines. It's pretty well sculpted in, but still, you want to do lines. Try to make it look natural. Let's work on those lips. Usually mix a little bit of blood red with natural lip. Okay, I mix those together for the base, and then I use just natural lip for the highlights. All right. And this is from Tim Gore Bloodlines Createx. Do a 50-50 mix of those two, and then just do the highlights just with just. So I want to enhance that makeup a little bit. I was going to use some paint, but at the end I just want to make it to look like makeup. So I'm going to use the pastel. I'm going to see if I can get a little more darker by adding more layers. I think that actually works pretty good. Her makeup is really strong in her eyes. There it is right there. Alright, so we still got a lot to go on her. So let me come back and we'll start continue with the next phase. Okay, welcome back. So it's been a little over a week since the last time I touched this kit. The reason why has been I had a cold, between cold, allergies, and pink eye. You know, I haven't been able to. I wasn't really much in the mood to painting, to be honest with you. But I want to get back onto this because I want to get started with other projects. So I want to try to finish this up as soon as possible. But anyway, we left off finishing up some work on the face on both figures. All right, now remember that I was we're doing a different type of light source that we usually do. We usually do it from the top, but this time I wanted to go from a different angle. Okay, so I'm coming in from basically from the top on the side here, going in this way. All right, and you can see the light, how the skin tone reflects that, and as we turn it slowly, that's where the shadows are more pronounced on the other side. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, the different tones. All right. Okay, so that's where we left off. There's a couple of things that I would like to touch up before we get going. All right, and I don't know if I'm going to do this on screen or off screen. Excuse me. But with the eyes, I put the color in the eyes, and what I want to do is, as far as the eye goes, I want to do it black, like a really deep black. All right, that's what I remember in the movies. His eyes was always one of the scariest things that you see in the movie is his eyes. All right, they're usually very black and very bloodshot. All right, in certain scenes and stuff like that, especially during the those bite scenes and things like that, or when he gets, So, I really like the way the tones are defined here with the lighting and everything. I really like the way it came out. So what I would like to do, as far as him, is just the eyes, I believe, they need to finish up. Maybe give a little touch up on the lips, okay? And a little bit more white on the edges of his hair, okay? Because his gray hair is more pronounced around the edges, as I can see in the movie and in pictures and stuff. All right, as far as him goes. And with her, well, this side of the figure, I need to glaze the nails a little bit more with a little more pink. Right now they're just a little too red for me on the redder tone. All right, but we need to lighten those up a little bit on the pinker side, but do glazes, all right? Because I want to maintain some of that darker nail. It just makes it look a little creepier, I guess. So, all right, and then touch up some of her eyebrows and finish up some of her lips and her teeth. All right, as far as this goes here. Once I finish with that, I want to start doing her hair. Right now, it's just a coat of black brown, and I want to start doing some more shadowing, darker shadows inside some of these areas, and through the hair halo where the light comes in through here. So this area right here is going to be the more highlighted area. Okay, some lighter highlights, I guess, on this side, just to, you know, bring some texture out. But most of the lighter colors here, and when I say lighter colors, we're not going to go very light on this. This is, you know, just as you can see that picture there on this side right here, you can see that the top is a little bit lighter, but we're not going to go that light. All right, that's just too light, you know, for me. I don't want to make her look blonde. I want to make her look, you know, that she has dark hair, but I want to bring up some of those highlights up and stuff like that. And excuse me for, you know, it's still fighting this cold. So, you know, the teeth, you know, some touch-ups here and there. I want to put a little bit of color underneath her nose, just a little bit of more blush color. Okay, maybe some underneath her cheek here on this side, not too much. All right, don't want to. Okay, I really like. I might even touch that up once I finish everything up. We'll see where it goes. All right, but that's what we have left for her. Okay, so some of this touch-ups I'm going to be doing, like, see if you can see here the light. Let me see if I can bring that up. There we go. You see how the top of the eyebrows are lighter? I need to touch those up. All right, same thing with her. You know, bring a little more color into that and things like that. Just very minor touch-ups. So I'm going to be doing that. And the reason why I want to do that is just once I'm done with all this stuff here, I want to mask the skin tones and go in with the black. We're going to do different tones of black. This is going to be more, a little bit more like the satin finish, her dress. Okay, in a dark black color. His is going to be a little bit more dull, and we're going to add a little bit of highlight into some of these areas, okay, and things like that. So I want to make sure that I can mask this out because I don't want to get any color on the skin tone. I'm very happy where it's going. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. All right, so stay tuned. I'll be back. I'll get stuff ready and we'll get going. First I want to do is let's just start off with the nails, and just grab a little bit of pale pink for acro. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water. I got it right here in this little tray. I'm going to add a little water on the side. And I want to glaze it. Alright, so, you know, all I want to do is just really just go really gently. And just get a little bit of watered down glaze. Over the whole nail. Might be a little too strong. Yep. That's alright. That's why we seal it, so we can clean it. Just do it all over again. Alright. That's why you seal it, guys, so you can clean up your mess up. Alright. A little bit more water. It's a little bit better. Right there. I think that's it right there. Just go real gently. That's it. See how it's not as strong as the other one? You're gonna have to do probably a couple passes of this stuff like this to get a good coverage. Looks so pretty. I do want to lighten up the lips too a little bit on her. Not too much. Just give it a little bit more. Just give it a little bit more of a highlight. You see the edge of the lip? I'm using this watercolor pencil. Alright, and I'm just highlighting those edges of the lip on the bottom. Hopefully that'll tell me where I need to go with this. Alright, just giving a little bit of a highlight on the edge of the lip. You don't want to put too much, all right? You can always wipe it off, but you know, just a little bit, just a little bit on the top. Barely putting anything. If you wet this, it'll come off a lot better. But, all I want to do is just this part of the lip where the light's hitting it. I want to add a little bit of highlight to that lip, right there. I think we're okay with that. I don't think I need to do much more to that right there. Alright. Little touch-ups here and there, guys. This is what you do. When you're painting. When you're painting, that's what you want to do. You want to you know, touch up the things that you might have missed and things like that, and you know, to make the kit look more presentable, I guess, you know, to lack of a better word. But using a little black brown, and just to do the eyebrows. So just add a little bit of color on her eyebrow, just on the top. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm just adding a little bit of color on the top, just to fill in some of those. And you see, this is what I do. I usually do a lot of this off camera, but I just want you guys to see that there's work that needs to be done. Alright, and if you take your time and you know, you just look around, take your time before you you might want to continue to the next step. Make sure you touch up some things. You can always get back to them, but I feel like if you get back to them too late, sometimes they might make things a little bit harder, you know what I mean, to get into certain areas that are finished. Alright, so might as well just do it now before you continue, because you don't want to be doing over stuff that you have finished already, you know what I mean, and then it makes it just that much harder. Put her to the side for a second. Let's bring him in here. Same thing. I'm putting a little bit of water on the paint brush and then just grabbing a little paint. And all I want to do is just add a little bit of color here. I still need to do the teeth. But I want to seal what I did in the lips, because I don't want to mess it up. And same thing goes for him. I still have to do the eyes. But I don't remember if I sealed this before when I did it or not, because it's been a while. So I'm going to seal them anyway, just in case. Alright, so when I return, hopefully we continue with something else. I'd like to try to do now is something a little bit different. See how it works out. I mean, a little trial and error probably here. I'm going to just start doing the black, but first I want to add the highlight. And that's right, yeah, highlight, I said. And the reason for that is that I want to try a little bit of a different type of blending because it's black, right? And I don't want to do the highlight over the black because I'm afraid it's going to look, I don't know, it's just not going to look right. I could do it, yeah, absolutely, you could do it, but I want to try, there's something a little different that I want to try. Let me put it that way. Let's, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, so be it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some of the highlights now with a blue. All right, and then do a translucent black over that and kind of blend everything in together, and hopefully some of that. I don't want the highlight to be too bright, but I want it to be there. You know what I mean? So I want to try and see how this is going to work out, and I'm going to do from dark to light on the highlights. Okay, so I got 3 colors. I'm going to start off with this one here, which is from Scale Color and Anthracite Gray. It's got a bluish tone to it. All right, and I'm going to do it from where the light source is coming in from, which is this side right here. Remember this angle? And I'm just going to highlight the high ends, but this darker color is going to be more towards the fading out of the highlight. So we're going to go dark to light. All right. So wherever you think the light is hitting, hit those areas. Let that dry a little bit, and then we're going to seal it. All right, so we'll be back in a little bit. Just remember that we're changing the intensity level of the highlight. All right, so I went with a lighter blue now, gray blue by Vallejo. All right, there we go, gray blue. All right. Okay, it's a little bit lighter, just a little bit, and we're going to go and tighten it up now a little bit. All right, as far as the area. Okay, so you want to go on the higher points and just start. I'm trying to keep in mind that I'm coming in this way. I don't want to do all of it. I just want to do the higher ends and keep that tight. Okay. You know, some people hate when I use my fingers, but you know, that is what it is. So again, staying there in those, doing a little bit wide, not too tight, a little bit wider, but you know, trying to keep the original color still intact in some areas. Alright, I'm imagining where the light is coming from, and I'm hitting those areas. Alright, I'm hit those, just changing the tone a little bit. I am going to do some highlights with darker grays and things like that too, but I was thinking about just doing the blues. Okay, there you go. Not too pungent, but you know, now we're going to go with a little bit lighter blue. Alright, so let's seal that and then we'll come back. Alright, so now let's hit it with deep sky blue. Okay, from Vallejo. Alright, now you're going to make it tighter. And you want to hit that just the top of the raised areas where the light's coming in. I need to go a little bit lighter than that still. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry for a minute, and then we're going to come back and hit it again with the same color. Same color. This method with something, some different colors. I never did it with the black. So my theory and my thought is to do a very thin black over this area right here, so some of this blue will show. You still need to hit some of these shadow areas with a darker color. Alright, but the lighter colors should hopefully show a little bit through a thin, hoping through a thin black. Alright, so that's my idea. Alright, so I think I'm going to hit it one more time with a lighter color. I'm not even going to clean the cup out, I'm just going to throw the color in. And this one that we just used was deep sky blue. Alright, deep sky blue, and the color I'm going to use now is sky blue. Very light. And that's a lot lighter, right? That's kind of what I wanted. That light color is going to show, hopefully it's going to show right through. Where the light is. See how I'm letting it fade out? The more you go over it, the more intense it's going to get. There you go. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to seal it, and then we're going to start off with the black. Okay, so I would like to apologize from the get-go because I don't know how much of the last part I recorded, but this is where I left off with it. What I did is I gave a bunch of really thin layers of black over his jacket, or his his coat, alright, or his cloak. Alright, and remember that we left off where I highlighted certain areas and I gave it a really nice thin layers over it. A bunch of thin layers of very thinned out black over the whole thing. Okay, so that's where I'm at right now with him. Okay, and that's where I'm going to leave him right there. I like this. It's a very, you know, I went from different you saw what I did as far as the transitions go with the blue, and I went from, you know, a little bit dark to light in certain areas, and then I went with a really light layer over it, and that's what I got right there. And I got the light coming in from the angle where, you know, this is going to be darker black right there. All right, I'm going to leave that as is, and this is where the lighter area is right here. There's a couple little touch-ups that I got to do. Okay, and I would like to seal him, you know, a couple more times before I call it good. But this is where I'm at right now with him. All right, so that's where it is. That's where it's at, and I want to leave it alone. I'm really happy where he is going as far as the tone. See the light color here with along with his face, and as you turn it, the shadows. All right. The same thing goes for her. Let me put him on the side here. So I'm gonna get scratched up. The same thing goes with her. I did put a little bit of color on his sleeves. All right. Okay. Oops. And what I want to do next is I want to paint her. Do I want to paint her dress first, or let's do the hair? I don't think we should do the hair. All right, but it's coming out really nice. And then what I got to do is just finish touching up some of these areas here. I just basically just put a little bit of black color here just to get an idea, but I need to finish doing a better job at that. But I think we're going to work on the hair next. All right, and there's a lot of stuff that I need to still touch up, which I still need to do his eyes. I still need to do her teeth. All right, and the ring, and the sleeves, and the white for the shirt. Same thing goes for his collar and things like that. But those are small little touch-ups and things like that that I can do either, on camera or off camera. I'm just trying to keep this video kind of not as long. Okay, so we're going to continue with her, and let me get some of the colors that I want to use for the hair, and I'll be right back. So for the hair, so I'm looking at that video, the picture that you guys are watching. I want to do something with those lips. I need to work on them a little bit, I think. But we'll get to that. So I want to try this transparent black for the shadows. If not, I'll try to use a black wash. But I want to give it a try to see how it'll darken the shadow areas on the hair. Alright. And I don't know what kind of effect I'm going to get out of this, but let's give it a shot. Trial and error, guys. But a little bit of water in there. And all I want to do is just darken up these, like underneath any folds and things like that. See how this works. And keep in mind the lighting. And let's just darken it up just a little bit. If I darken too much in certain areas, I can always try to go back and lighten it up a little bit. But as of right now, I kind of like that. It's not too strong. Alright, and you can, if it's a little glossy or a little shiny, you can always matte it down with this sealer. Now we're going to do a little bit lighter colors. Alright, I'll let that sit for a minute, let it dry. What I'm going to use is the Dark Umber by Pro Acro. It's a nice dark brown, but not as dark as the black brown. Alright, so I'm going to start doing where I see the light hitting on this model. It's going to be mostly what you see right there. Okay, this side right here. This is where the light is coming in from. Okay. And I'll add a little bit of water to this. I'm using a broad brush still. I'm using the side of my brush, just gently hitting it in different areas, just to lighten up her hair. And again, you can Wherever your light source is coming from, that's totally up to you. Like I said, if you want it before, like if you want to keep it screen accurate, you do it that way. I'm trying to do a different type of effect. Just wanted to give it a try. So far I like the results. It's something a little bit different than what I usually do on here. Alright, I think that's good right there. I'm going to let her dry and then I'm going to seal her. Alright, and then we'll come back and continue with a different color. The color I'm going to go with is the a warm brown from Pro Acro. Okay. Put that there for a minute. We'll go with a smaller brush. And I'm going to just do some really small highlights. Put a little bit of water in it, thin it down. And just with the side of my brush, I'm gonna hit the top. That's too much paint. I just want to hit the top, so this really lightly. Hope you can see the difference. Very subtle. I'm not going too crazy with the highlights. Alright. I think this is a good tone for it. If you want to go subtle. If you want to do more, you're more than welcome to go ahead and try it. Alright, this is the last color that I'm going to use for this effect. It's up to you guys if you want to accentuate that a little more. It's totally up to you. You know, if you mess up, you can always paint it over. You know, and start over again. I think this is a good color for the effect that I'm looking for. There we go. I think that's good right there on the top. Darker on that side. You see that? The skin, the hair. As you turn it, you can see the highlights everywhere. Alright. I'm going to try the best that I can do to try to keep this in camera, but I don't know how it's going to work. To do the eyes, I want the eyes looking down to one side. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm doing it with a marker to mark it off first. And I want to keep it with small beady eyes looking down towards her neck. It has these small little eyes, dark and scary. Yeah, you know, I'm not using decals. But his eyes are going to be like pretty much one color. I want to make him really, really dark and really, really... It's going to be bloodshot and everything. I think I need to go just a little bit bigger. Not too small, but also not too big. I seem to have better control if I do the little dot method. And then just fill stuff in. Alright. That's a little bit better on that one. Just laying down dots. That's it. Alright. Nothing. I'm just going dot, dot, dot. Trying to round out those edges. And I seem like I have a little bit better control doing that. Just gonna leave it like that. Now with this stuff, you're gonna have to let it dry really good before you do anything else. This marker stuff, all right? And I might touch it up with a little bit more black paint, all right? But other than that, I'm just gonna leave it like that right now. Just let them be. There's the eyes right there. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna let it dry before I seal it. All right, and then we'll go in and we'll do some bloodshot stuff. Do some of the pink in the eyes on the bottom. All right, maybe a little more in the redder tone this time. Okay. Yeah. That's looking pretty evil, dude. Look at that. Once you do all the other stuff, everything's gonna pop out. But it's those beady eyes is like that deep black beady eyes. All right, that's what I remember watching all the time. Is those eyes and the bloodshot and everything. But there she is, right there. All right, this is getting close. All right, guys, close to the home run right there. It's just about done. I did a lot of touch-up stuff, small touch-up stuff here and there. Last where we left off. I did finish painting her dress, which I painted with a gloss black, and then I brought it down when I used a matte clear, just down a little bit to give it more like a silky look, not too glossy. Brought it down a little bit. I still need to bring everything down just a little bit, but I think I'm happy where it is. There it is right there, the whole kit. All right, I did painted the ring. Finished the eyes, which I did them a little bit bigger where he's looking down, and I did put some bloodshot in his eyes with the fire. The reason why I didn't film it while I was doing this is because I was so on top of it that you guys would have never seen anything anyway, because I had to do really close detail on it. All right, but he's looking down. So there's the lighting and the shadows. I'm really happy the way everything came out. Okay, she's looking good. He's looking good. All right. Now what I'm going to do next is, which is the final step. I did put a little gloss on the lips. All right, and I did nails. All right, and I'm trying to think. Oh, and the white on the shirt. All right. So those are the things that I did off camera, which is pretty simple. I mean, this was nothing major. I just used regular white and, you know, and stuff like that, and just gloss up and did some minor touch-ups here and there. I still have a couple touch-ups that I keep on finding as I go along, but it's pretty much done. And what I want to do now, just be very careful so I don't scratch the paint, okay, is do the blood effect. Now the blood came from the ritual part of the movie. There's a chalice of blood that was spilled over on top of her. Okay, and I'm not gonna give away too much of the movie. You guys haven't watched it. I don't like to do that. All right, but Laura, Karen Monroe, you know, her name in the movie is Laura. Then Dracula comes in. Okay, but you know, the blood doesn't come from the bite. It comes from a chalice of blood that was spilled over, like a ritual kind of thing. Okay, so I got two types of blood: true blood and coagulated blood. So we're not gonna do too much coagulated blood. We're just gonna put it in maybe parts to thicken the area up. But mostly I'm gonna use this true blood stuff. All right, and try to mimic the best as I can what the movie and it's cut off over here. I have a picture here on my computer. I don't think I can show it, and the reason why is because it has some stuff, all right, on it that you know, like writing, and I guess for who the publisher was or whatever, and I don't want to post it and get in trouble. So I'm going to keep it on the computer. I'm going to put this blood on the side here. All right, and this is from Green Stuff World, True Blood. That's the one I'm going first. All right, and let's have some stuff on there. All right, I'm going pretty thick on the brush. Okay, and let's go and just like, I want to see what it looks like once it dries. She has a pretty thick blotch of it here on the neck. I'm going to try to mimic as best as I can. Alright. This stuff was spilled all over her. Alright, there's the regular blood I was using, and there's the other stuff. That's really dark. So I'm going to just be careful with this stuff, not to go too crazy, I guess. We'll put in certain spots here, just to darken stuff up. Different areas here, creases and crevices. Oh yeah. Just give it a little variation, which is cool. This stuff's gonna have to dry. You gotta take a little chances. You can't be afraid of doing this kind of stuff, you know, like dirtying it up or things like that, you know, to get certain results. I really like the way that came out. So that's what it's gonna look like, guys, right there. Still done up. Alright. I hope you enjoyed this series. Alright, and I will be posting some beauty pics at the end, okay? So for you guys to enjoy. I hope you guys learned something. Alright, this is a nice kit to do. Alright, and let me get a little more light on there so you guys can see the tones of the hair, you know, the different tones. Remember we did the hair and stuff. I still need more practice to do the kind of way that Vince Venturella does. Like I mentioned before, he has some great tutorials for how to do hairs and different tones excuse me, different colors and stuff. But I love the way the shadows came out with the highlights and, you know, the little lighting effect and stuff like that. That I really enjoyed doing. I really enjoyed doing this whole kit. Really nice sculpt by Jeff. Great cast by Paul Gill. You know, you guys did a great job on this one. Alright. Now it's still available through Gillman's Garage. If you guys are interested, I'll leave links down below for him. Alright. Check it out. Alright. And there it is. Alright. I did paint the eyes. I didn't use decals, I guess. But there it is. There's the whole kit. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to let it sit like this and let it dry. Okay. And and I have to glue her on there. I'm still not sure if I want to glue it. I think I'm going to magnetize it instead of gluing it, but we'll see. My dog is barking like crazy. But there's the shadows, the lighting effect and everything. I love the way this came out. The colors. I am happy the way that the highlights came in for his cloak. Okay, we're using the different tones of blues and stuff like that, and just do it very light overspray with a thin down black, and it came out great. All right, that was a nice different thing, something different that I did, and I'm really happy with the results. That was something, you know, that I wanted to try, and I'm really happy. You know, you can see the highlights in different areas, things like that. How the light is coming in, which is coming in this way, and it's just highlighting certain parts here. I'm really happy the way that came out. Hopefully it'll show better in the pictures than this video, so when I take them. All right, but you know, thank you guys. Thank you for you know, for everything. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. All right, and I appreciate you guys always watching. Thank you. All right, have a good one, people. There it is. Dracula A.D. 1972. Paul Gill. Sculpted by Jeff Yagher. Painted by moi. All right. Peace.